I've shown this slide every time I give this talk, because that's the philosophy that I try to bring to the organization.
Not too long.
Keep it
I know, I'm
simple,
trying to put as
keep
low
it
as I can.
regular, and that has nothing to do with the bathroom. You try to have a base of operations feel, that's what we have for some of the stuff we're doing this year. Everyone's welcome,
all or nothing.
very strict membership rules, you show up once. Very high survey standards, try to get immediate results, which I'll be showing here today, very immediate. And no grotto politics, you try, the idea is every grotto is welcome, it's not one grotto
Is that
versus
still enough
another.
light for you?
Try to make it public for everybody. So last year, I gave the wrap up of the Crystal Cave project. This is the summary of that. I mean, there's not much else to say except we published at the end of last year, the Crystal Cave monograph. The Underground Conservancy published it. They spent a lot of money to put this into print. And I will tell you that in 6 months, they started to make profit on it, which is good for their organization because they use the money to buy and conserve caves and mines, which is a good thing. And that money will also be funneled into future publications as well. They told me I'm on the board and I'm supposed to be their publications editor, whatever that means. But it's not going to be my publications, obviously. So anyway, we had started the year before the Buckaloo Cave project as we were rolling crystal out. We started Buckaloo, and map is completed on Buckaloo. And in fact, that's the map now. See that? That's the main index page. This is a very vertical map with multiple caves and multiple layers. So I made it as an atlas once again in this context. This is a completed map. It is finished. There will be a monograph that'll go with it. This is just to give you an idea. This is the profile of the cave. Just to give you an idea of some of the verticality of it. Multiple levels on top of each other overlaid. Not much to say about that until the monograph comes out. We're going to have, the monograph itself is going to have, as usual, a whole bunch of different chapters on the cave itself to try to give some situation. Brian McMillan is leading the geology chapter. He's writing that with, of course, numerous co-writers, as is usually done. And this is him and Nicole Davis in Buckaloo discussing, I imagine, chert beds at this moment in time. I'm not sure where this is. Is this in the Nolan district?
Yeah.
It is. I thought so. Is that the balcony up behind there? Yeah. Very nice picture by Adam Zipkin. Now you see the yellow thing glowing in the corner there. That's actually one of the many bug traps that Phyllis Ferrangi had set in the cave, and she did this twice. So this is the back. You want to talk about it? The cave. Because it's a major roost site for the lesser longnose, and I should add the cave is an endangered species roost, and so the cave is absolutely not visited during the months where there might be any bats there. We originally we talked to Game and Fish about this issue with their bat specialist, Scott Richardson, I think his name was. He suggested we don't go to the cave from April to September. And we started the survey in January initially, and when we got to April, he actually said we could go through April, but not be there in May. So we got there in April, we got into the entrance passage, and we saw bats, and we called the trip, and didn't go. And so no access to the cave can be there from now. The only access to the cave is from November to March, and there are no bats during that period of time. But because it's a bat roosting site for less than animals, there's tons of guano. I mean, bat research estimates between 25 and 4,000 bats come there every summer. There's lots and lots of guano, which means there's lots and lots of bug life. Lots of bugs. You cannot go anywhere in this cave without seeing bugs. Lots of bugs, spiders. They're bugs to me. The expert will tell you what they are, and she's got lots of great pictures, none of which I'm going to show. This is her and Jan Kubicek in the cave, the first time setting up bug traps. First time they set up bug traps was in March. They set up traps on Saturday, and then went in on Sunday and picked them up and set more traps, and then left them through the summer and picked them up again in October, some of which were useful, some of which had become fully gel, I understand, but that's okay. And Phyllis can talk to you more about specifics. She says she's got some interesting things, including, I think, one possible new species. Is that correct, Phyllis? Yes. So anyway, this is going to be a baseline study on her part, just to get that started. I am, of course, going to write a history chapter of the cave. I've done lots of research. Part of the history here has to do with homesteaders and also landowner relations. This cave is on private property. It took me a year of negotiations to settle the situation, to get permission to work with this, because the owners are ranchers and they're a little bit suspicious of outsiders. But they met my wife and that turned the corner. Me, it wasn't easy. But so we have landowner relations. One of the things in the discussion, at first they were very reluctant. When they met us, by the end of the meeting, they said, we've got this empty house you can use. They were giving us a house to use. The house was in really bad shape, and the history of the family, the owners that we're talking to, Peter, Lauren Weaver and his sister Frances and husband Peter Grill, they were not the original homesteaders. The original homesteaders, this was one of the houses they had built, one of the three brothers, and it had been sitting empty for about 20 years. And in the last decade, it started being used by illegals. They were coming up over the mountains. And it had gotten broken into, and then it started to be used by ringtails and rats and other animals, and they were leaving behind a lot of stuff. And so it was really a mess. So we volunteered, in exchange for letting us use it, we said, we'll clean it up. Which is, of course, the only thing we could do, because if we didn't, it was really not presentable. So the first weekend at Buffalo was 17 cavers, some coming from far away in Mexico to come clean this up. And we did. We made it really good. And when the owners came by on Sunday to take it, what was the one word you heard very quietly said, David? Wow. Wow. Yeah, they're branches, they're very soft. They don't exude a lot. You know, they're quiet like that. And so, but they were very impressed. They've been very happy, and they basically let us use the place. I've been doing research on the landowners, and Lauren Weaver, David and I took in the cave in November. He had never been in the cave. We brought him vertical, and we took him in the cave. And then on the next day, we interviewed Earl Nolan, who is the son of the original homesteader, Susan Nolan. Susan Nolan came from Colorado, a widow with 8 kids from Colorado in a wagon train. There's a great story behind it. I'm not going to go into all the details here. You'll have to read the monograph when I write it. We'll read this chapter. She had, her oldest son Frank was very much into the cave. He ended up owning the property, which has the house that we were using as a field house. And for many years he had a mining operation of guano out of the cave. He had 3 sons. His son Earl had never been in the cave, did not know about the mining operation, was told by his father, this cave has bad air, it's very dangerous, and you'll never go in it. But I want you to clean out all this guano that happens to be in the entrance room. Which he never told his son came from the bottom of the cave. Didn't know. So David and I went over and we met Earl and we talked to him for about 2 hours, had a very nice conversation. He told me some about stuff I didn't know about the family, and we told him stuff he didn't know about the cave. He was very impressed. His daughter Rhonda, that's this woman here, was there. She was extremely excited, and she didn't know about any of this stuff, and she desperately wanted to see the signatures in the cave, because the cave had a whole area with the signatures mostly by the original settlers. We gave her pictures of them, but she said, I want to see it. And I said, okay, in January, we could do it. We'd already talked to the Grills about if we could use the field house in January to do ridge walking in there, because there's lots of limestoners that do ridge walk, and use the house as a field house for that. And not that the cave's finished, but use it as a field house to do ridge walking. So we would be there. I said, you want to go? And she said, yes, I want to go. I said, okay, we'll work it out. And it ended up, she has 3 sisters, 4 sisters. Earl had 4 daughters, no sons. And so she talked to all her sisters, and 3 of the 4, the oldest, Shelley, and then the youngest, Brenda, also came. The second oldest, I'm sorry, not Brenda, this is Becky, I'm sorry. Brenda, the second oldest, was afraid, didn't want to come. Now, all 3 of these girls, plus Becky's husband, Mike, also came. All 4 of them had never caved before, zero caving. Now, Buckaloo, you can free climb it, but the drop, there's an entrance 25-foot drop, about 100 feet into the cave, which really is safe if done on rope. So David and I taught them all vertical. So for their very first cave trip, they did a 2-pitch drop, because you have to do 25 feet, you don't have to slope and an 8-foot drop. They did that, we got them here, this is what the signatures are. And they did it, they had a great time. They all did it very well, actually. Rhonda had some problems, not for her, but having to do with the gear being adjusted. So we adjusted it, and then she did it. She came up, down and up, no problems. And it was really cool watching them at the signature spot. There's a few areas back in the cave where there's lots of signatures, but this particular drapery, along the draperies, they'd signed hundreds of signatures, historic signatures. Many of them are people that are their descendants or people that they know. In fact, the funny story is, one of the ugliest pieces of signature in the cave, actually, is not carved on. It's from 1982, so you begin to think of that as graffiti, because it's spray painted in orange paint, and it has 1982, and it has initials LN and LS. And I was just thinking some of the people that were sneaking into the cave in the 60s, the 80s, and last half of the 20th century, when it was closed, there were no rangers, no one living in the houses. You know, just ordinary people. We get to this spot, it's big, you can't miss it as you're heading to the signature area, and Rhonda immediately says to me, "Oh, I know who those are. That's Leander Nolan, which is a cousin of theirs." He came in with he was a 17-year-old kid in high school with his buddy, Lee Gray. They came in here, and they got lots of trouble spraying this on, which is kind of cool. You know, we've been thinking that should be removed. Now I'm not so sure. It's part of the family. And you know, we wouldn't do anything without their permission. So they went on the cave. They had a great time. Really thrilled. And that's part of the landowner relations. The idea is to they are willing now to let the caving community use that Buckaloo Field House for future bridge walking in the area. And I'll get to that. So anyway, summary, that's how long it is. It's about 150 feet deep, the cave. It took 9 survey weekends to get it all done. We also surveyed a mine in the area, Ajax. There's a whole bunch of mines we checked out, but this was the largest. And it's not very big, but we checked it out. The Blue Mountain Ridge Walking. Blue Mountain is the mountain that Buckaloo is on. We've done some ridge walking. Last weekend we did ridge walk. Was it last weekend or 2 weekends ago? I might have my weekends wrong. 3rd weekend of the month. We did some ridge walking. We eliminated a bunch of leads. We did a dig. But Mike Como and Joel Norby spotted a hole on the wall, which on Sunday we went back, and that has a potential dig. So guess what? We're going to go back next month. Landowners have allowed us to do that. People want to join us 3rd weekend of the month. There's going to be more ridge walking on the mountain. There's possibilities. I've made arrangements for that, but there's also going to be going up to this dig. Dig can't have more than 2, maybe 3 people in. But the dig is located at the band of limestone in an area we didn't know could be reached by walking. Skilled walking, because it's on a steep slope, but it's walkable. So that's a band that could be ridge walked. When we looked at it, there might no obvious holes anymore, but it doesn't mean there isn't anything small in there. The landowner relations allowed us to use Buckaloo to do outlaw cave. This is a cave that is owned nearby, near Paradise, which is close to this area, and it is privately owned also. Brenda Haynes had met the landowner, which was tour guide, and he said he wanted the cave map. She called me, I talked to Ron Peters, he said, sure, let's do it. So the map was completed 1 survey weekend. It's not that long, a cave. That's the map. A very easy cave map. We had 16 people come plus others to help. This is the list of the people who helped. You know, it was really good. I ended up with 5 sketches, so I actually was able to put this tiny cave. I put 5 teams in, so we were able to get it done really fast. That way we weren't in there a long time. Cave's known for a lot of signatures. Landowner relations, I talked to Ron. I've had the map framed, and I'm going to give this to him in March. He doesn't know that it's like this, but I thought this would be a nice thing to do and look really impressive, and he'll really appreciate that. This is, once again, just to establish good relations. In fact, the advantage of this is that Outlaw was closed. It's got a gate. You couldn't go to it. It's a nice little cave. It's a good tourist cave. It's a good beginner's cave. It has a lot of historical signatures from the time when Galeyville, the outlaw town, was right over it. It was right in the middle of town. Now it's not there. Well, now Ron says to me, yes, I'll allow trips if you arrange them with me. So you call up right now it's just with me, but I'm sure we can work this out. Where if people want to go to this cave, we can arrange maybe a trip a year to see it. And that's the advantage of good landowner relations. We also this year had Horseshoe Mesa project. Ben Tobin and I have been talking about doing a project in the Grand Canyon. We finally got that going. There was a project in '78 that did a lot of really good work. This is from that report. The Mesa has some caves that have been done that Ben wanted resurveyed and re-sketched just to bring them up to modern standards. He also wanted to have inventories done of those caves that matched the surveys. This is a change in his approach. And plus that '78 survey had a whole bunch of leads indicated that, as far as I know in the records, have never been followed up. And so he said, "You want to do this?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" And so we had a first weekend, one weekend so far. We had 11 people by permit in the cave, plus about 5 people doing Sherpa work. Horseshoe Mesa is a good, easy day trip, day hike. And so I said, we're going to be there from a Friday to a Monday. We don't have any water down there. It would really make it easy if gear and water could be brought to people. And so Jeff Stevens mahanchoed this, and I carried probably 80% of the weight, because Jeff is just vulnerable. Anyway, but we did this, and we got 2 caves surveyed and inventoried completely, and 1 map completed. This is Crystal Forest, which I have here. There's a copy I'm going to give to Ben. If he can get out of the traffic yet, I'm not sure. I don't think he's here yet. He's probably caught in the traffic. So we've got 1 map finished. The other cave is going to be drawn by Nicole Davis, who's going to do her first cave map with this, and it'll be brilliant as always. We also spent the day. This is our intrepid crew at the entrance of Crystal Forest. And the cave's been mapped a few times, but this is just to get it up to modern standards, and also the inventory matches to it. We have 2 more weekends scheduled in March and April. They're not exactly the 3rd weekend of the month because of certain scheduling conflicts, and they're not exactly on the weekend. One is going to go from Thursday to Sunday, and the other one's going to go from Saturday to Tuesday to fit in with the availability. But we'll do it again, and I've already got between 15 and 20 people who want to do it.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay, I'm getting close to the end. Yep. Thank you. This is what it's like to camp on the surface. Someone has to dress like that every week. That's Jessica. Anyway, so we had a great time. It's a beautiful place, and so we'll be going back, and we're gonna get 2 more caves surveyed and inventory. Plus, we're gonna do additional ridge walking. The last time we ridge walked, we eliminated some of those older leaves by actually rappelling down to look at them. But we also scouted where a lot of the other ones were, and we'll have a better idea how to do it. Doing that. I made a listserv for the Western Mappers, and I said last year it's available for anyone who has a cave project that wants survey to use. This is a group of people who actually are interested in that particular subject, and Mike Como took me up on that. He used this listserv, as I say, it's for everyone's use. It's not my listserv, and he had his own project going. He'll talk about it, Yoga Shaft, and that's getting going. It's still available for anyone who wants to use. If you're assuming you've been to at least one project weekend and have helped with these ones, everyone's welcome. The rules aren't strict. And let me just close with one more thing. I said no grotto politics. There was one project that did not happen this last year that I tried to get happening. Pima County had asked me to be the point person to try to get a dig going at Colossal Cave. Not at Colossal, but on that property. The idea of getting the older projects that had been shut down by the county started again. And I said, sure, I'd be glad to do that for the people who had those projects, to get their projects going again, not for me. I got enough to do. Unfortunately, people didn't like that, or I don't know what the deal was. And so I'd like to change this to no politics at all. If you have an issue, call me and talk to me. I am very easy to work with. And I'm really open. I have no ego in this, really. I want people to get their projects going. I really just want people to get their projects going, and anyone who's worked with me knows that. So if you have an issue or you have a question, talk to me, and we'll work it out. and then maybe we'll get projects going. The sad thing about Colossal is we're now cut out, and the people who had their projects couldn't finish them, still can't finish them, and that's the sad part. So I'm finished, and
Great, thank you.
We'll take this.